that's just a good example of that. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of my Enduro riding tips series. If you haven't seen the first couple of videos, you should probably go back and watch those, because as the videos progress, it'll definitely help you with the things I'm going to go over today. But yeah, so today let's go over logs. I think logs are something that pretty much everybody everywhere has to deal with, logs. And everything I'm going to go over in this video today is, I'm going to cover logs only, but you can apply it to, you know, rocks and other obstacles, which I'm going to do a video on that as well, but all the techniques are kind of similar. So yeah, let's get started. So we're going to start with a smaller log like this. You can pretty much just ride over this one. This one's probably 10 inches, you know, somewhere in that area, 10 inches, but I'm just going to explain a bit of the technique on this little one. Like that would apply to the bigger logs. You know, like once you get into a foot tall or, you know, something like that. A lot of the guys, like the trials guys, call it punching the log. So what I do this on all obstacles actually, is I'll just, while I'm riding at it, I quickly in my mind, I'll mentally split the obstacle in half. So, and you don't have to be accurate, but you do have to be above the halfway point. So I'll look at something and I'll figure out where halfways is, and then that's where you want to glance your front tire. So the idea is to glance your front tire off, and then that's going to compress your forks, and then of course they're going to rebound, and then you counteract that rebound by hitting it with the rear. So it looks like this. It springs you into the air, and then you counteract it, and then the idea is to land more or less level on the other side. So I hope that comes through with my gloves, but that's pretty much the idea. So, and then you use your clutch and your throttle to, the clutch and the throttle kind of dictates how hard you drive into the log is going to dictate how much rebound you're going to get. So the harder you drive in, then you're going to have to hit it harder to level out. And you know, with different size logs, it's all going to be different. So I'll grab my bike and I'll hit this one a couple times, and I'll slow it down a little bit and see if it helps. Actually, first I'll just ride over it, just, you know, like I'll take it easy, and so you get the idea, and then we'll slow it down a bit. So that last one, actually I'll do it again. I actually bunny hopped, kind of like the old, you know, your old bicycle or BMX days. And all that's involved there is just forcing the bike down as hard as you can. And then, like I said, the shocks are all going to unload, and you de-weight yourself, like kind of lift your weight up with the bike, and it's going to kind of catch a little air. It also helps if you got a little obstacle in front too. Like there's a bit of a mound there. I'll show you here. I'll put the camera on a different angle, and you can use that to your advantage on a lot of these logs as well. So that's all one clutch on the finger, or one finger on the clutch through all of that too. So I'm lucky I got a hydraulic clutch, so it's quite easy. Actually, there's another tip you guys should, what I do with my cables, when I had cables, is I lube them up with WD-40, and I do it until it washes through on the other side. Basically what you're doing is cleaning the inside of the cable. I sometimes use cable lubes in that, but I find in the winter when I ride, that's like pretty cold temperatures, that oil gets, you know, it gets pretty hard, it's sticky. I find if that cable's clean inside, then it works the best. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. We're going to move on to some different size logs here and a couple different scenarios. But really, all the obstacles are about that technique. It's really just about loading up your suspension and unloading it. All you're doing is using the springs in there to your advantage. Because obviously when you compress them, that's why you have rebound. You can slow that down. You know, you got an adjustment on your forks. You can slow that rebound down. I usually leave mine stock pretty much in the middle. That means so you're not going to have too fast of rebound, but I like my suspension pretty soft for enduro riding. You know, that way you can really dive your forks down almost all the way and use that rebound to your advantage. So just remember splitting the obstacle in half. You know, you can hit anywheres above the halfway point depending on how big it is and how much you want your front end to rebound. So if it's a fairly smaller log, then you're barely going to touch the top. I mean, you can just really wheelie over it. But yeah, like if you hit it at the halfway point, obviously it's going to rebound you quite a bit. So yeah, let's go over a couple different logs here. You guys are lucky enough to find a log like this. That's what they call a suspended log, obviously, because it's not touching the ground. But this one is pretty awesome to practice on because you can see the other end is pretty much at ground level. So you can start down there, you know, until you feel comfortable and keep working your way up. At least that's how I practice. I'll grab my bike and I'll go over a couple different spots and show you guys. So did you guys see what I did there at the last minute? I hope that came out on the camera. Actually, I spotted a rock on the way down and I just used that rock and I hopped over the log. That's that, you know, the old BMX bunny hop trick. Yeah, I should say when these logs, when you're coming downhill, unless you're really confident, then I would just tackle it a little bit easier coming down than going up, because of course with the grade of the hill there's a better potential for going over the handlebars. So yeah, just coming downhill, just approach it a little bit different than when you're going up, because you can even use the pivot turn method coming down. I'll do that right now actually. See, I grabbed the clutch actually on that hill right when I land, just to keep from stalling. And you just touch that front tire to wherever you want. Try and always stay, if you can, always stay at 90 degrees. So, you know, like you're building a house, keep it square, right? Hit them at 90 degrees, not 45. Definitely when they're wet, because that'll just cause you to fall. So I'm going to move up to quite a higher spot, and this one's hard to recover from too, because that uphill, I mean, it's a little tricky, so let's give it a go. Yeah, so what I did, I grabbed another rock that was laying over here, and I'm going to show you guys how that that's definitely more advanced, but you know, once you guys do advance, you can use smaller logs and then put another log in front of it, so it's like that, almost like a step, and then you can use that to your advantage. Just, you know, ride up it basically like use it like a little jump, and then you still can touch the log unless you're confident enough to not touch it at all. So I'll do that a couple times just to give you, just for an example for future stuff. You know, some of you guys might be really good already, but some of you guys might still be advancing, you know, like on smaller logs or whatever. But basically the idea is like that, is like I said, just with a smaller log in front of a bigger log, that'll help you get over it. So like obviously here we're like 3 feet high or something, but yeah, so let's give it a go. I should also mention, if it's a smaller rock or log, it could roll or move around, so just be wary of that. But that's a good size rock, so I can pretty much use the same technique. Just rebound, unload your suspension, use your body when it unloads at the same time, and just hop up and over it. And once you get the technique, there's really nothing to it. I just thought this is a good example. So I've hit this log several times, and you can see what's happened. Right above the halfway point, all the bark is knocked off. So you can see the different places I've been hitting it with the front tire. Like I said, anywhere's above halfway, your front wheel's going to ride over it. Obviously, if you went below it, it would go under it. That's just Algebra 101, I think, or I missed that class anyway. But so yeah, that's just a good example of that. I'll do a couple quick recoveries here too, and that's pretty much that's more of a trials kind of technique. You just gotta get your balance on your balance. Is episode 1, by the way, if you haven't seen that. Just get your balance on the bike, rock your weight backwards. It's going to compress the rear suspension, and then that's going to drive your rear tire into the ground, giving you the traction. And then when it all releases, you de-weight yourself, and it's going to help you get over the log. So I'll show you what I mean here. This is definitely going to be more challenging for you guys, and I don't recommend tackling any obstacles or hills, actually anything on a dirt bike that's going to set you back. Because like when I was younger, I would pretty much try anything, and all that did is discouraged you, and then you just want to hang up your helmet and you don't want to do it. So just practice on smaller stuff and slowly work your way up. That's kind of the best way to go about that. So I'm just showing you a little bit bigger stuff, just so you can see the techniques are all pretty much similar. You know, it just depends on how you use it. I'll hit it a couple times and show you guys what I mean. Whew, got a little high in the front end on that one. don't stall your bike. On a bigger one like this, you know, it's a little bit sketchy because it's surrounded by, there's bedrock and, you know, sticks and there's debris everywhere. So personally for myself, I would just, unless you're super duper confident, I would just do the old, just touch your front tire to the top, wheelie up onto it, and then just kind of pivot over with your belly pan. If you get stuck up there, don't worry about it. Just give yourself a push off with your feet. But you should be able to keep the momentum and kind of just rock over it. So let's give it a go. Yeah, nothing to it. When you get the technique, when you get, geez, I'm throttle happy today. I better rewatch my videos. So when you get the technique, it really comes quite natural. I appreciate you guys watching all my stuff. Definitely drop a comment, let me know how I'm doing and what you think. This is all off the top of my head too, so there's no script or, you know, I'm not sitting at home behind my keyboard, you know, reading a piece of paper telling you guys. I'm out here trying to show you. This is probably the best way next to one-on-one riding, which I might do in the future actually, by the way. So, but yeah, it's just off the top of my head. So yeah, let me know what you think. Hit the like button for sure, and if you're not subscribed, definitely hit the sub button, because with no audience, there's not really going to be any videos, so, or there's no point, I guess, right? So yeah, feel free to check out my Patreon. That's just a way to contribute to the channel. That just gets me up here making more videos, so the more time I have, the more I can film. So thanks for watching, you guys, and I will catch you on the next one.